Welcome back to the Flophouse, where engagement is always the most important thing. And today, we are engaging once again with magazine covers from the 90s and we dip into the 2000s a little bit. And I saw some of you in my older videos ask, what about PSM? I only touched on them a little bit, so why don't we touch them a little bit more? Oh, jeez. There has to have been a better way to say that. Anyway, starting off with the very first edition of PSM, issue number 1. I remember this very, very vividly, seeing it. And, of course, it is not official artwork from Square, right? Done by a lot of comic book artists. I'm not sure exactly who did this one, but that was kind of PSM's thing for a while. And I remember seeing this picture of Cloud and just being like, whoa, that looks cool. Upon further inspection, Red over here looks pretty good. Aerith/Eris and Tifa, not so much. Barrett's pretty good. And yeah, even Cloud's got a bit of Toonami going on. I think Barrett's probably the most accurate one. But the two leading ladies, not so much. They're a little bit off model. But it's still a good piece of artwork. It's a lot better than stuff we're gonna see later. But yeah, it's kind of simple. It's just all the characters splashed on a white cover. And they did this weird, consummate V's sort of triangles on PSM covers and stuff. And we're going to see this a lot. Free stickers! This magazine did this plenty. Way too much, if I'm going to be honest. And yeah, if you want your pirate smiley face on your faceplate of your console, check out this issue in stores today. If you want. Next up, surprisingly strong. Not quite Kojima levels of artistry on this Symphony of the Night illustration, but it's pretty good. Probably the best custom not official piece of Castlevania artwork I've seen used in a magazine, advert, or cover ever. The castle's completely on fire, so that's a little awkward. It's going to be awkward to have to investigate it when it's completely engulfed in flames. But these games, as you can see, they're so good, they're scary. Scary games like Street Fighter EX Plus and Mega Man X4, Nuclear Strike. It's the ultimate guide, has maps, lists, and secrets. You better let me know if this was actually accurate. Did it tell you every single secret? Symphony of the Night might not. Hey, at least this lid sticker is a lot better. We're not talking about Resident Evil specifically in this magazine, but hey, you can get a sticker on your PlayStation. So, wait, Halloween Gore Fest, Nightmare Creatures and Clock Tower. So I guess it's themed for Halloween this year. Another strong one. I think it would even be better than the last one. If I saw this in a magazine rack back in the day, I would think about picking it up. I'd pick up less? This confusing ass cover, right? What the fuck is this Mega Man? And why is Zero there? Something wrong. Okay, let's do a bit of investigation. Look. Mega Man goes 3D. Does he? When? When was Zero in 3D? Not on the PlayStation 1. Giant Mega Man Neo preview. Remember Mega Man Neo? Of course you don't. Because that was one of the prototype early names for Mega Man Legends. Maybe that explains it. This is supposed to be Mega Man Legends Mega Man? I just don't remember the helmet because you don't see him with the helmet much. It's a funny looking helmet. It's not great. But why is Zero there? Oh, maybe because Mega Man X4 is being hinted at. Confusing nonetheless. Oh, fighting for his lid sticker. Get fucking in. I do like how colorful it is. Very Mega Man anime-ish background there, so that's something. But yeah, a little confusing at first when I saw it. It's not terribly illustrated, but when you're comparing it to official Mega Man art, it's hard to top it. And it's in fact impossible to top it. But still, I don't hate this. It's solid if not spectacular. fuck is this? Okay. So, wow. Okay. So, I think the perspective is off here ever so subtly. Jin is punching, uppercutting Yoshimitsu here. Yoshimitsu's arm is massive, but it's behind Jin. The sword's going behind him. Jin's kind of looking over here. He's punching over here. Why? I don't know why Yoshimitsu's face feels like it's so close to Jin's crotch. There's some weirdness going on there. I don't remember if his hands look like that. That looks more like Raziel's hands or something. Benjamin 98. I like the background. The background's nice and detailed. It's better than like, just having a white or black or just like plain color void. But yeah, Jin it's not rendered super well. His hair is a little off, but like it's a fine comic book illustration. It just gets messy around the crotchal region. Oh, and by the way, in case you only get tired of seeing it once, you're going to see PSM declaring everything is a Zelda killer at one point or another. It's like the game doesn't even have a fucking final name yet. They're just calling it Kane 2. It is not even Soul Reaver yet. It's a Zelda killer? Bitch, you don't even know the final name of the game. It's a little much. They say that constantly, PSM. It's like PSM just coping super hard. They don't got Zelda. And can anyone actually give me the numbers? Was PSM Magazine the America's #1 PlayStation magazine? You could argue that it was unofficial, unbiased, and unrivaled. How could it possibly be unbiased? You're covering just one a brand of consoles. You're very biased anyway. And of course, PSM memory card stickers. They just really like their little logo, smiley guy pirate, and just random car. I think I've seen way worse fighting game illustrations in advertisements and on covers. This isn't terrible. It's just like a little off-putting here and there. But they advertised the fuck out of Tekken 3, and for good reason. So I put this not because I find anything wrong with it. It's super cool. I think this is a case of an artist maybe not getting the full details and the full character models of what these characters actually look like, because this barely resembles Meryl. I don't remember Meryl having a giant survival knife. I remember her clothing actually being a slightly different color. This isn't quite Solid Snake's sneaking suit. I don't remember these cross cartridges. That's a little off. And they're standing in the middle of Metal Gear Rex, but I don't know where he starts or where he ends. But it is illustrated quite nicely. The artwork does look familiar. Drav? Not sure if that's the artist's name. But still, it's pretty good looking, I'd say. It's evocative. It's not your standard comic book style art. So, what else we got here? Wow. Advertising Tales of Destiny, that's cool. And of course, hot new games like Ridge Racer 4, Twisted Metal 3, Tomb Raider 3, and of course, the hottest game of them all, WCW NWO Thunder, the house that Horace built. Fuck you. Any magazine that advertised WCW NWO Thunder and or Nitro, I'm glad you're dead. I'm glad that magazine is no longer in print, because that's just straight up lying. Anyway, another solid illustration. There hasn't been anything I hate yet. Will we get to some that I hate? You'll just have to wait 2 seconds. I don't know why we're yassifying Sybil. And we just have Boo Haunted House monsters, because I guess the artist wasn't really told what types of monsters are in Silent Hill. This is supposed to be Harry, but I think it's actually James. Maybe they got mixed up with it. It's very James coded. The only thing that's slightly different is just the color of his jacket. But yeah, a fuck you, WCW Thunder. Again, why are you guys doing this? So yeah, I guess it's rendered okay, but for the source material, it's not amazing. The symbol is what really bothers me, and some of these monster designs, again, in the back, I'm not entirely sure. Ooh, Metal Gear toys. I think those are the Todd McFarlane ones, which were very based. Konami follows Metal Gear with horror shocker Silent Hill. I don't think that franchise is going to go anywhere, quite frankly. I think I'm going to give this one like a thumbs down, in all honesty. Just if it was maybe Resident Evil, I could kind of give it a pass, but like the way it is now, not so much. It's just not very representative of the franchise. Jesus, it's really not. Okay, this is pretty solid. Lara Croft spent a lot of time on PSM covers, probably more than any other video game hero, and it's pretty good. I like the background. That's really nice. And Tomb Raider 4 was all in Egypt, I believe. The only thing that's slightly off is that I just feel like her legs are not long enough. They feel like way too tucked in. The rest of it's pretty sick. It does remind me of the Tomb Raider comics that Top Cow released back in the day, but it's solid illustration. What's up here? Oh man, I remember these figurines of these Mortal Kombat ones, specifically the Ryu one. I'm not really that familiar with, but I remember seeing these all the time, wanting them. Can never find them in any stores, motherfuckers. Rope climbing, Kane Soul Reaver, Zelda Killer. No, man, come on, stop it with that. Anyway, I think it's another good one. So thumbs up for Lara. It's gonna happen quite a bit. Right, okay. So there's definitely a style going on here. Not sure what style. In honesty, this is a pretty cool image of Nemesis, kind of a blue Nemesis, smashing through a wall. Jill does not, or whoever this is supposed to be, doesn't seem to be that concerned that like a monster just crashed through a giant wall. She's just like looking over at whatever magazine is on a rack that's out of our view. Probably a magazine of how to draw like manga anime artists, circa 2000s. Yeah, it really doesn't feel like her at all. I know style is a thing there. Even these rocks coming down from Nemesis's fingers are plinking off her arm. She doesn't care. Yeah, not quite the Joe Mad style art that we're used to seeing for Resident Evil covers, which I have already kind of looked at in previous videos. So there's going to be certainly a lot less Joe Mad. Sorry about that, but I have taken a look at a lot of his work on PSM over the years. I think I still want to give this one an okay, just because it does seem like an attractive, like appealing cover at first glance, and it is a bit of a style issue over how accurate the rendering is of the character, and it's like, yeah, literally it was the style at the time to draw a lot of characters this way, so maybe I should be lenient there. I'll be a little less lenient though that Mr. Gabriel Logan does not seems like he has his eyes closed while shooting, right? And there's some weird things going on with these muzzle flashes. This gun is trained exactly, almost pinpoint directly at us, fully forward, yet the muzzle flash is indicating that we're shooting this way, right? This lady, forget her name, she's looking at us, but she's shooting away. But we're looking down our sight to see, or down our scope to look at these two characters shooting randomly. And it doesn't really make me think of Siphon Filter, does it? Right? It makes me feel like it's a super heavy action game, which, it was more stealth orientated, but yeah, it's getting kind of, I don't really like the red sort of highlight around here, and just, yeah, it's not great. I'm gonna say no to this. Like, maybe if I liked Siphon Filter a bit more, I'm more familiar with the games, I should say. I've only played like one ever. But we do know that in 2000 there'll be 45 juicy screens. You gotta love juicy screens. You can see time is moving on a little bit. We're now in Street Fighter EX2. We're still in Tomb Raider 4, but we're getting the Tekken Tag. We're getting the PS2 era, and unfortunately, As we go into 2000s, as we go into the PS2, artwork starts being less and less so. Then they just use the same marketing images every single magazine used, even though PSM were kind of, at the forefront of having really solid comic book artwork as the center of their covers. They fuck it. That we had to pay money for that guy to draw that. We can just take these marketing images from Konami or Capcom or whoever and just call it a day. And they did. Wow. So this might be the first of the swimsuit specials that PSM would like to have. Snake to Otacon. They know everything. They can see all of the swimsuits. PS2 Zelda Killer. Shut up. Dark Cloud was not a Zelda killer. I don't care what you say. Anyway, this dinosaur does not look historically accurate. It's just licking his big chompers with Regina just laying out there with a nondescript drink. We don't know what it is. Maybe a Mai Tai. Hot art of your favorite game girls. All dinosaurs must die. Man, I think Dino Crisis could have sold even more copies if it was called Dinosaurs Must Die. That's a sick-ass name. I guess this is okay. It's a little too... The colors are a little too light over here, and you're losing a lot of contrast and such, and everything's kind of fading into the background a little bit. But Metal Gear 2 is unbelievable. That is true. So there's that. And like this really, really warm, orangey, peachy pink or whatever we have going on here, that's hard to read. Yeah, you know what's really great? Putting gray text over that. So I'm gonna... I don't know. I'm on the fence on this one. What do you think, big guy? He seems to love it. Okay, I'll take your word for it. I think I'll give this a pass, but it just barely, Okay. Of course, this is J. Scott Campbell. He did a Dead or Alive 1 illustration for a cover, probably a few years before this one. I'm not down with these depictions of the DOA girls. They just don't look right. I don't know about that PS2 either. That looks ginormous. I don't remember PS2 being that big. Anyway, I mean, I guess it's okay. It's a lot of white in the background, and it's already characters that are wearing a lot of white already. So they're popping at least a little bit. I don't know what the background kind of is. It just looks like random blue shapes. Not really sure. Tomb Raider Chronicles. Is Lara really dead? Yep. No, never came back again. Not really that much else to say. Ooh, the bouncer. Tons of new screens. That's cool. Watch out, Tekken. We played DOA 2 and it's simply amazing now. It is amazing. That is true. But now that we're in the PS2 era, it's not gonna be long for this world, all these illustrations. DOA 2 Hardcore, which is a neat version. Hey, what's up here? WWF SmackDown 2 Tables, Ladders, and Lita. Could you not have found was there no diva whose name began with C so you could at least do the TLC thing? Oh, hell yeah. Buy this mag, jabroni. Amazing. This is why magazines are awesome, but they're also dead, I guess I'll give this a pass. It's just Hitomi's face not Hitomi. It's just Kasumi. Sorry, they all look the same. It's just Kasumi's face that throws me off. Tina's okay. I kind of feel like she could do that, but I guess overall, yeah, it's all right. Less all right is this. Why is Solid Snake's mullet like especially blown out? Like he just spent a day at the barbershop, just like, yeah, I just want the most windswept shit you got. It doesn't even make me think of Solid Snake. It makes me think of a samurai cop or something. Look at poor little Raziel. That barely looks like the character. That's not even the right color for his cloak. And I guess that's Samanosuke. Oh my god. I can't believe... Oh, jeez. What even... Scion? I forget his name. Anyway, dude from the Bouncer. He's here too. Yeah. They did this sort of thing quite often. They just take like 4 or 5 characters of whatever big games that they were talking about, usually in a wrap-up issue. So this is PlayStation preview for 2001. So yeah, all those games did come out in 2001, so that makes sense. I think Onimusha did. Anyway, I guess it's fine. It's, yeah, I mean, it's like, if you look at it, like, step back, it is like an eye-popping cover, you know. Colors look good, so can't really give it that much guff. It's just like every individual character is not amazing, you know. They're not rendered, you know, very closely to the source material at all, but, you know, sometimes that happens. Case in point, who are these characters? Why does Dante have like a milk mustache? Who's this? Sniff, what the... someone has passed gas near Solid Snake. Perhaps it's this little weirdo? What the fuck? Like, Titus, not a cool looking dude in any universe, but he looks cooler than that. If Joe Mad was drawing him, he'd look cooler. I mean, Jack looks fine. Rare sighting of Maximo, that's cool. The water sword is rendered very well. I'm not sure about the green though, but yeah, I'm gonna give this one another not passing grade. There's just too much that's just way too awkward about it. Speaking of awkward, whew, this does look familiar. Like, I feel like I have seen this artist work on other PSM covers before, but again, this is the most, it was the style at the time thing ever. You just saw this so much in the early 2000s. But like, when you think about SSX or SSX Tricky even, it don't look like that. At least did not look like that. So that's kind of funny. And it's like, we couldn't get a cool action shot of her actually, you know, snowboarding, doing a cool trick. No, it's just her doing the Fred Durst, like, you know, hand in your face sort of music video thing. So that's kind of awkward, but whatever. Tony Hawk 3 was out at the time. Awesome. And this is Final Fantasy X. Hey, 35 exclusive screens. Square's next games. The PS2 hard drive. Do you need it? The answer is no, you didn't. Considering I like SSX Tricky a lot, I'm going to give this one another bleh, you know. Again, even if it wasn't a style thing, as long as she was doing like a cool, you know, snowboarding trick, I think I would have given it a pass, but I just can't. This fucking guy. I forget this stupid character's name. And yeah, that's all I have to say about that. But it is amazing that Tomb Raider Angel of Darkness is heralded to be the return to greatness. Reveal the radical new features that will make you fall in love all over again. Level up Lara's stats, sneak like Solid Snake, choose what Lara says, all useless, and meet Lara's new partner. Oh my god. You know, if you want to put poorly aged anywhere, it'd be over this. Anyway, the swimsuit special again, by the way. The hottest game girls. The smallest bikinis. Game magazines. And we're on Vice City already, so we're getting well into the PS2 era, and, you know, we don't have that many left of actual illustrations, so soak it in while you can, I guess. I think the picture of Lara's okay. There's way too many folds in her top, like, and I don't even think she wore green with this outfit. Wasn't it like all black or anything? So that's inaccurate. And I hate this guy and his fucking face so much. Very, very punchable. So I'm going to give this another, you know, failing grade, unfortunately. Sorry, Miss Croft. Oh, I remember this. I remember fucking this. It's Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance time. This is pretty cool. I think Greg Horn is the name that was prevalent at the time, I think. This is super cool because it's just, you know, a pretty accurate illustration of Sub-Zero and Deadly Alliance. Well, I think it's really cool is because Scorpion is actually, getting the short end of the stick here. In a lot of Mortal Kombat illustrations, perhaps an Ed Boon bias, it's always Sub-Zero that's getting his, face melted off or fatality or whatever. The other thing I don't like about this is that why does Scorpion have, pupils? Why doesn't he just not have, the ghostly white eyes? That's a little weird. That looks kind of funny, don't you think? But other than that, it's still very, eye-popping cover, right? Just freezing this decapitated head. Parents of kids that used to read Nintendo Power probably complained when they saw this PSM cover at the time. But you can see that we're now inching closer to stuff that's less comic booky and more rendered. Because then that'll go away completely once we move into the marketing images. And you can see that the magazine is getting very 2000s-y now with this sidebar and all this, trying to maximize the amount of information, text coming at you, whereas the illustration's getting less and less important, sad to say. But I still think this is a pretty solid cover overall. Probably the last solid Mortal Kombat focused ones you'd ever see. But yeah, we have a few more left, so let's move on to whoever the fuck this is. Shia LaBeouf fighting a zombie? I hope the zombie wins. Anyway, this is advertising Resident Evil Online, which is what Outbreak was called for a good while. Exclusive screens and scary new info straight from the developers. This is hilarious. We don't know who one of the characters quite is yet, so let's just make this guy an amalgamation of every white dude you've ever seen in the 2000s. And it's why is the zombie wearing white on a white background? It's not very Resident Evil-ish, isn't it? Why not any other color ever? Although it is cool to see Def Jam Vendetta on there and War of the Monsters. I'll give it that, but this is awkward as fuck. It's not very good. The rendering of the zombies okay, that's solid, but everything else, I'm gonna give that another failing grade, unfortunately. We have probably one or two more. Try to guess what character this is. Can you guess? I'm not gonna zoom in any more of that because there's a spoiler there. We're in 2004. All right. 2003 maybe, actually, when I think about it. Yeah, it's June 2003. This is actually Cassandra from Soul Calibur. Cassandra does not look like that at all. I get that it's the swimsuit special, but this looks like a DOA character, in the facial region. It is like if someone put that fucking NVIDIA AI slop filter on Cassandra. She doesn't really look like that at all. It's a very nice rendering of a character. It's not Cassandra, and you wouldn't even be able to really tell it's a Soul Calibur character. Maybe because at first I thought was it supposed to be a Virtual Fighter character? Because Virtual Fighter's there. Man, advertising the Ninja Turtle 3D game, that's rough. But yeah, I guess I have to give this a pass just because it is nicely done, especially for their swimsuit issues and all that. So that's fine. We know what's less fine. Whoever the fuck that's supposed to be. Who is that? This reminds me of? This reminds me of those posters for famous movies, but the posters are made in other countries, like tiny markets, and they barely get to see what the movie is, and they have to just kind of go with the vibes, I think the character looks like this. This looks like Solid Snake out of Naked Snake, I should say, out of a Bollywood film poster or something like that. Anyway, Sony versus Game Boy. I love how they're not allowed to say Nintendo. That's pretty funny, but yeah, I guess the green on red is at least makes him pop, but could you not gotten more of a beard on him? There was plenty of screenshots or video of Naked Snake just having a very pronounced beard. I'm not sure why we left that out. I guess the Snake, remember the basics of CQC, and also shaving. Chaos Legion, boo. Anyway, I'm gonna say I have to say no to this, big time no. Just because it's one of the poorest representations of Naked Snake I've ever seen. The big boss himself. So that kind of sucks. Like, PSM, you are not going out with a bang. You're going out with an absolute farty whimper. And we're going out with this. Whoever this is supposed to be. I think it's supposed to be Kratos. There's no way this is official art, right? I'm putting this in because I don't believe it's official. This is just some weird rendering that PSM had made. Now, some of it's cool, like the fire against the black background, yellow text, that all pops. But like, this is such an awkward picture of Kratos. It doesn't even look like him at all. Weirdly. Guess what? If you don't get these PS2 next mega hits, then die, loser. I mean, I guess that, Kratos might say something like that. The PS1's retired. You'll never see it again. Our top hit, God of War. Exclusive new levels play tested. Amazing. This is the most PSM, like late era PSM cover. I do like the distressing that they have on the logo. It makes it look a little bit edgier while still retaining what it's supposed to be. And after this, all honesty, all of the covers it lasted for a couple more years. This is 2004. It lasted until about 2007, 2008 at the very latest, and every single one after that is just marketing image after marketing image, and there's really nothing to say about them. But you can see for a time they had some stuff going on, especially with all the Joe Mad covers, which, like I said, I've looked at before, but they couldn't get him all the time. Obviously, he was a very busy guy in the early to mid 2000s, so they had to rely on other artists, and I think most of them, like in the late 90s, like, there was pretty solid showing for a little while. But as you saw, as time went on, they got kind of worse and worse a little bit. So let me know of any other PSM covers you remember fondly, or if there's any other magazines you'd like me to take a look into the future. I always love going back to this time capsule, literally, of video game history, you could say. If there's a particular magazine you'd like me to follow, I'm kind of interested in checking out like some of the European magazines to see if there's any weirdness there. There has to be, right? So give me those suggestions in the comments below, and until then, I will see you in the Flop Magazine house.
1, 2, 3, 4, turn the beat back.